Good evening, everyone. I can't hear you guys at all. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Yeah, it says your sound isn't on. I still can't hear anybody in the meeting room or the meeting host.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah,
Can you hear us now?
I can. Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good. We'll just wait for our technical director to get back here, and then we'll try to go upstairs and flip a switch or something.
That's
So
great.
we're good to go, but let's let her get back here in case something needs to be done while we're talking.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. Why don't you begin by telling us who you are and who you represent?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kristen Lux. I'm from Kristen Lux Architecture, and I'm here representing my clients, Buck and Rebecca Schleifer. Their property is 128 Sycamore Lane in Irvington. Can I go ahead and
128.
120.
Okay. Yes, please. Feel free to share your screen.
Excellent. Let me just do that right now. All right. Can you guys see my drawing?
Yep. Yes, we
Wonderful.
can.
All right, great. So these are the existing, oh, no, let me go back a little bit. Here we go. So we're looking at A200 now. This is the front elevation of the existing house. And what we're doing is on the left-hand side, the south side of the house, we're proposing to raise that roof a few feet to change the pitch of the roof. And we want to tuck in 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a few closets up there. You'll see this is the existing side elevation, the existing back elevation, and the existing other side elevation. And I'm just going to scroll through. This is now we're looking at the proposed front elevation of the house with the higher pitch. The original ridge line was 25 foot 8 3/8, and the new one's going up to 30 feet. You'll see besides that, nothing else is changing at the front of the house. Now, if you look at
Would you say the overall height is?
30 feet.
There's a delay, so you have to give her a minute. 30.
30? Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. And if you look at drawing number 2 below, this is the north elevation. So if you're looking at this, the left side of the drawing over here where the bay window is, that's the front of the house. And then this is the back of the house over here. You see the new higher pitch beyond. And then when you're standing in the backyard of the house, we're proposing to add this dormer on, whose elevation, side elevation you see here. And we're going to be tucking the bedrooms under that proposed dormer, which you can see here in the rear elevation. We're going to match the existing, we're going to match the new roof tile to the old. We'll be using the same type of windows that we have throughout the rest of the house. We'll be cladding the dormer in the same painted wood shingles that the existing house is clad in. We're also going to be matching the existing window trim to what's on the house, which is just a white vinyl. And beyond that, nothing else is changing here in the rear elevation. And then the lower drawing, number 2, that is the proposed south elevation. And again, this is the higher ridge roof. And then this is the side of the dormer here, if you can see where my mouse is. And why don't I show you some photos of the existing house as well? That will probably be very helpful. Just give me 1 second while I scroll through. And I'll zoom in for you a little bit too. So if you look at this top row of images, this is 120 Sycamore as it currently is. And you'll see it has the painted wood siding, the asphalt roof shingles, and the wave vinyl trim. And that's it. That's what we would like to do.
Is there any other side of the house besides the rear that has the multiple panes of glass in the windows?
So
Multiple
the,
lights, I should say.
yeah, multiple lights. So the one side of the house has multiple lights. The other side does not have multiple lights. And then the front of the house has multiple lights and the back of the house doesn't. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge.
Which are the windows being replaced? Is there a discussion?
Do you have or show us some idea of what windows are staying, what windows are being replaced?
Yeah, so we're actually not replacing any of these windows that you see here. These are all going to be remaining. We're just adding on new windows. So let me just scroll back quickly and I'll show you where we're adding the windows. We're not changing any of these guys. So here's the back of the house. All these guys are staying. Side, these guys are staying. And then, excuse me, the back of the house, we're adding 4 new windows in that new dormer. And then the south elevation, we would like to add, excuse me, another window here, which is just under the ridge, and that's the bathroom window over here on this side. So we're just adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are matching the single pane to the single pane. We're not proposing to do any double pane over here.
Yeah, it makes more sense now
Mhm.
to me.
House, you're adding shutters?
No, we're not adding any shutters. The house doesn't have any, and we didn't want to add any.
Yeah, I agree. Can I just see the front again? I don't know why I thought I saw that. In the
Yeah,
last
you know what, I think the existing elevation has, there we go. So the existing front elevation does have shutters, and we're just gonna leave them in place. And I can certainly
wanna
show you
what?
on the, would you like me to show you in the photo as well? That might be easier.
But you said they're there now and you're going to just take them off?
No, they're there now, we're just gonna leave them.
Could you zoom that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really hard to see them. They're really, really close to the color of the house. There you go. How's that? Can you see them there?
Barely.
Yeah, they're just those little guys.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.
Good luck. Feel better.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Good night.
No problem.
It does. Aw.
Okay. We will go back to the ascending schedule. ARB 22-21, 4 Dow's Lane fence. Anyway.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me? I'm Samantha Hedrick, one of the owners of 4 Dow's Lane. We moved in about a year ago and the fence is falling down, so we need to replace it.
Okay. Do you have any ability to share your screen with the application on it?
I do. Hold on one moment. Are you able to see that?
Yes, we are.
Um,
Okay.
okay, this is the application. I assume you want to see the drawings. This
Yeah.
survey. So the red here is where the fence, the wooden fence that needs to be replaced, runs along 3 sides of the property. We're replacing it with something that looks very, very similar to what's already there. The only, sorry, what?
Oh, go ahead.
The only changes are that there's one short section that for some reason the wooden fence doesn't connect all the way around. So there's one section where it's just the chain link fence that belongs to the school. And we'd like to continue the fence so that our property is fully fenced in. And then we'd also like to add an aluminum fence that connects from the outside of the property to the house so that the backyard is completely contained.
Okay, so my main questions were, we need a better idea where the different types of fences are going,
Sure.
along with the location, any gates that you have.
Sure. So in this drawing, at the corner of Dow's Lane and El Retiro, there's a stone wall there that does not need to be replaced. There's a short section of iron fence on either side of that stone wall. And then this red line here. So most of the top side here, the east side of the property, the full north side that runs along the soccer field, and then the full side that runs along the parking lot of the school. That would all be the wooden fence. And then there's a short section up here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a short section on the top of this drawing that connects from the wooden fence at the outside to the corner of the house. And then the same thing on the other side at the parking lot of the school. The aluminum fence would connect from the wooden fence along the outside of the property to the corner of the house over here.
So a couple questions. The proposed fence is PVC. It's not cedars. Do you have a sample right now with you of what that looks like?
I don't have a sample, but I do have some photos.
Yeah, unfortunately, why don't you, unfortunately for me, you don't physically have a piece with you?
I don't know.
Have you seen a sample yourself?
Not in person yet, only the photos. But my understanding is that it looks like wood, but it won't rot.
The problem we've run into in the past is when you're substituting cedar for PVC, that unless we could see a sample, we certainly would want the homeowner to see it. We've had representations in the past that it looks just like wood, but in reality, that's not always the case. You live on a beautiful street with some beautiful homes, and you'd be the first house on the block to have PVC. So I'm a little skeptical, to be honest with you, to approve this much fence that's so highly visible without seeing a sample and certainly understanding, thank you for telling me that you haven't seen a sample. I'd really strongly encourage you to get a sample from the fence company before you install this. The color is not only important, but the finish and the sheen to it is going to be important as well. So that's my first comment.
Sure.
The other comment I have, sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I say the other comment I had is on El Retiro. How do you say that?
Retiro.
Say it again?
El Retiro.
El Retiro. I noticed that and I did take a look at the property. I drove over there again today, as many times as I've driven by Dow's Lane. I just thought I'd look at the condition of the fence. But it always struck me or I should say, I've always questioned why that privacy fence is needed along that drive. Most of the houses along that road, actually, it seems to suffice just to have a metal fence of some sort. You've got a lot of kind of stop and go and different types of fences. Had you considered on that run just along the road, just to keep it metal and not introduce a cedar fence?
We have, but the privacy is actually quite important to us. It's part of the reason we bought the house. We do border the school, and there are people walking on El Retiro and Dow's Lane all the time. especially after school when people are going to the games and to practices, there are people walking there all the time. So we do very much value our privacy there.
Gotcha. Had you consider though just to put in like some type of metal fence with landscaping, some type of shrubbery, or like the way that some of your neighbors have done along that street, just to cut down on the amount of this privacy fence circling your property?
In other words, aluminum.
Sure, we
Yeah, aluminum with.
it, but the privacy is quite important to us. It's really one of the reasons we purchased this home.
Understood, but the privacy can be achieved in other ways is what I'm suggesting. And so if you take a look at some of the areas in Irvington that also have some old historic houses, they opt for an aluminum, some type of metal fence, and then they screen it with year-round vegetation to achieve that privacy. So that's my second comment. The other thing I'm not clear on in the application is, are you proposing that in I guess it's the behind the house where the field is, there's going to be two fences back to back?
Not where the field is. The two additional aluminum fences would be on the sides. So one would be on El Retiro, connecting to the front corner of the home, and the other would be on the side of the parking lot, but it would be invisible from the parking lot.
Right, yeah.
I think we're talking about the
Can you go
area.
back to the drawing, just to go back to the schematic?
Sure.
I think we're talking about where the, you said you were doubling up or continuing the one type of fence in front of their fence. At least between those two lines of it.
Yes, the school has a chain link fence that has holes in it, that is on the outside of the privacy fence. But I don't honestly know why it's there. It doesn't accomplish all that much, but the privacy fence does, and that would keep out animals and provide the privacy.
Yeah, can you show us where that is?
Sure, the chain link fence runs along both sides here. So all along the soccer field and all along the parking lot. But for most of that stretch, there is also the wooden fence on our property line. But for whatever reason, this stretch down here, just at the corner of the parking lot, the developer of the home didn't fully finish the fence all the way to the corner. So there's just one stretch where the only fence there is the chain link fence, but there's a huge hole in it. You know, we have dogs, we hope to have children. I mean, it's not a very functional fence there.
Understood. The only reason I question it is it did strike me as odd as well. And I just was curious if there could be a survey issue of some sort. Have you guys looked into that?
There was a survey done when we purchased the home last year. And in fact,
Okay,
I believe previous owners were mandated to move one section of the fence due to the survey results. So yes, the survey was done and the fence is in the right place as far as I understand.
Okay. All right. And then my last question was, so along Dow's Lane where the stone retaining wall is, there's no proposed fence, correct?
No, that's right. No new fence there.
Okay, so those are my only comments. My concern, my primary concern is not seeing a sample of the material and being reluctant to approve the fence. I know that we're facing challenges having the meetings remote, but even not seeing it in her presence and kind of looking at it. Seeing
Maybe
it.
drop it off at the building department so we could see it before the next meeting. I mean, I'm feeling pretty negative about the PVC, particularly in the kind of a neighborhood you're in. I mean, that was, you know, part of one, well, maybe your house not particularly, but you know, that was a very large estate and some of the original houses are still there. The gatehouse and the carriage house are, you know, almost across the street from you. And obviously some of the other houses have really made an effort to, you know, keep things as historic as possible. And it's not that you're in a historic district, but the PVC just could be really hard on the neighborhood. So I think you might accomplish the same thing as Deb said with either aluminum and, you know, large bushes, skip laurel or something that would, you know, give you that kind of screening. Otherwise, you know, do it in wood.
We had this issue with the corner of Broadway and Ardsley, East Ardsley Avenue, and you know, they wanted to put the plastic fence all the way around, and in fact they they looked into the aluminum fence with the greenery in front of it. It came out magnificent compared to what they were looking to do.
We had another issue at Main Street School, just again, in terms of privacy, the neighbors that are not, that live at the corner of the Aqueduct and Main Street School backyard. And that fence, which runs the entirety of where the field is there, PVC was suggested. We suggested they do a cedar. They came back and said they wanted to stain the cedar because they didn't want a maintenance problem. And that's what in the end we settled on. And again, it looks very good. So you're not the first to come before us looking for privacy on properties adjacent to either, village property or school property. But we really are reluctant in this village to start installing PVC when there's other options, or at least hearing what the other options are that you've explored and why they're exceedingly expensive in comparison.
Sure. I mean, one other concern I have is just how long the fence will actually last. So, for this one, the fence is falling down. We had a windstorm in December where a huge portion of the fence on El Retiro had fallen over. And we are near the school. So to me, the wood seems like a real safety concern over time. And we're just looking for a safe option that is going to stay up and, provide the same privacy that we currently have without requiring replacement every 20 years.
I hear you, and your fence does need to be replaced. I did see that, but we've had great success with natural cedar on other properties. So what I would recommend is we're certainly open to looking at what you're proposing. I don't think we've seen it before, but before we can sign off on it, I personally would request a sample.
I think at least three out of the four of us are feeling that way. I don't know about Randy.
No, I feel the same.
Yeah, and if you have a great product, I honestly would like to see it because there are other applicants who also are concerned about privacy neighboring some of the school district.
Okay.
Hi,
We can
this-
certainly provide a sample and we can drop that off.
Hello, this is Anthony with Colony.
Anthony?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if you can hear me or see me. I'm on the cell phone, but
We can hear you. Yeah.
oh, you asked me to start the video. Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second. I don't know how this. Yeah, no, I was just trying to say, we have a sample here if you would like to see it now, and also we can even drop off a sample as well, so you guys can look at it in person as well.
We'd like to see it in person before we make a decision.
Yeah, what color is it called?
It's the Cedar Grain color. It's from our supplier called Interstate. Very popular. Probably majority of Westchester uses Interstate, and Interstate has the basic, white, gray, Adobe color, but they also have 3 special. They call it wood grain vinyl colors. So they made it a lot less shinier, made it look a little bit more natural, and it's the Cedar Grain color. So it's pretty much like a better version than wood, and you lose having the high maintenance on it, and also from rotting. So it makes a huge difference when it comes to fencing and when it's properly installed.
And since you're in the business of fencing, what compared to the cost for the same amount for a natural cedar, whether it's stained or painted, what's the difference in price?
You're looking at almost double the price when you're looking at purchasing the wood materials and staining it, because it's a lot of labor, for contractors to do that work. You can't order fences and then have it already stained. You have to do it yourself, and it's a huge process to paint it, then prime it, then stain it, and let it dry properly. Because if it doesn't dry properly, it can start peeling, and people get upset.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to the beginning again. Okay, why did I even get wood from the get? Oh, that's why Interstate and a lot of suppliers came out with these wood look-alike vinyl fences. And I've installed this color Cedar Grain all over Westchester. And we've been, Colony Fence has been in these board meetings with Irvington as well in the past. Instead of doing so much white white color vinyl, this cedar grain is getting very popular right now. So a lot of properties are starting to get these vinyl cedar grain options.
Well, we agree that the white fencing is, you know, not what we're looking to approve here. At the same time, I think with a sample of it in hand at the next meeting, we can make a decision on whether or not it's, you know, acceptable for that high profile area that she's in.
Understood.
Okay. So Ms. Hendrick, you'll arrange to have that dropped off to the building department. We can take a look at it next month's meeting.
Absolutely, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think the green fence on roadway on Sydney Lane was that big. Okay, let's move along. We will move on to the next application, 22-22. For Clifton Place fence.
Hello, my name is Herbert Feuerstein. I'm the architect representing the Sykes, who are the, excuse me, the owners of 4 Clifton Place. They live in the house next door, excuse me, and they bought this lot a couple of years ago to preserve it as an open area. They'll be celebrating their 25th anniversary this June, and they decided it would be a good time to add some landscaping just to make the lot more attractive. And that is the reason for us putting up a fence to protect it from deer and as well to keep their dogs in and protect the plantings that they're planning to put in. We chose to use the material as in a deer fence because of its transparency. And if I can figure out how to do this, I'll share my screen and just walk you through the site plan. Share screen. And here we go. Do you see the site plan?
Yeah.
So there's currently planting in place here and here, as well as I'd say 2/3 of the length of Clifton Place. We're going to put the fence up. There'll be plantings on both sides, but the idea was so you don't really see it. I mean, some of the deer fences, although they're transparent, they could be not that attractive. And there's a buffer where it's not right on the street. The street line at Clifton Place runs along here, and on Ardsley Road, it's a significantly bigger buffer to their property line.
Can you show us a sample of the fence?
I have some photos. This fence, I believe, is 6. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, this fence is 6 feet. We're gonna go a foot lower. Basically, we want people to be able to see into the lot and to be able to see out, and it'll align with the fence that is along the front of their property.
Are those forsythia that are planted in front of the fencing?
Yeah, it's going to be a mix of deer-resistant plants in front, and then in the back, on the property, they want to do flowering plants, be able to, attract bees and butterflies and make a natural setting. But yeah, the idea is to do deer resistant plantings on the outside. And I don't know if you want to see them. We included some photos of other fences that are in that immediate area. We like to think that this would be more attractive with planting on both sides and also it being lower.
Not sure 5 feet will keep the deer out if you're concerned.
It's going to be a deer deterrent fence. They do have dogs that will be around. Unfortunately, I'm in New Rochelle and we're starting to have a major deer problem. If you fence in the property, you really help a lot. I think without it, it would just be a grazing pasture. Yes, I'm sorry.
Understood. I'm sorry. Can you remind us put in front of their house next door? What height is that?
The fence across the street. Let me, I did not measure it. I think
They're putting in, or I don't know if it's already been installed, but the fence we approved, that's ornamental.
Yes, that fence will be 5 feet. The idea was to maintain the line along the street line. That fence is a 5-foot fence.
Had they considered running that ornamental fence continuously through to this property along Clifton?
I think they have the expense is dramatic. And I think it's much more visually obvious. I think the thought was that, if you plant on both sides of this type of fence, you really don't see it. And they got an estimate of I don't know, tens of thousands for that other fence. I think maybe more, for an ornamental fence all the way around. And what they're really looking at, their original intent was to preserve this lot, from a developer. And, they've sort of sat on it. And for their 25th, they said, let's make it nicer and we can celebrate out there and we'll add plantings. And without some sort of fence on the outside, it wouldn't last.
So it's more naturalized. Yeah, I get it.
Understood.
Yeah, it's money and also, part of the look. They just texted me that they got an estimate for close to $100K to do all of that because it's a rather large lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
No.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Congratulations to them. Nice idea.
Yeah, thank you. It'll be beautiful once it's all done.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
On 22-23, 16 North Dutcher Street. Windows.
If you're here to represent the application, if you can hit the raise hand button, please.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Roger Kaplan. I'm the homeowner at 16 North Dutcher Street. Our windows are, well, some of them are literally falling apart. We would like to replace them. Let me share my screen with the application. Let's see. One moment. Oh, geez. I might need to quit Zoom and rejoin because of permissions issues with screen sharing. I'm sorry. So I'm going to quit and rejoin. Okay.
Okay.
That's really sad.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let's try this again. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're replacing most, but not all of the windows. There are some minor changes that I'll go through. First of all, as far as color goes, we're sticking with white. Some of the windows, like in this photo, this is the front of the house, 11 and 13 in this photo have this divider on the top or grill. We're proposing to get rid of that. I mean, I guess we don't have strong feelings on it, but it would be simpler to not have it in the replacements. Similarly, let's see, on the side of the house, I guess 12 and 14 upstairs, they have the dividing grill. This one too, and then a few on the back here. So that divider is one of the changes. The other one is, so this whole bay window is falling apart. The replacement is, so this one now has 3 double hung windows. The replacement has 2 double hung on each side, and the center one is a casement window. Let's see, is there any otherwise? Nothing. If there's an X, that just means that we're not touching that window. The type of window is, it's like Home Depot brand, basically. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else to say about them. Oh yeah, actually the Energy Star ratings and stuff are in here, but I think a representative from Home Depot might be on the call if you have any more detailed questions about the specs.
So if I understand correctly, are all the windows now going to be 1/1, no divided light?
Correct.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's fine. The only thing I was questioning, Roger, it's Gail, was the case window inside of the side. I mean, are you flattening that bay out, or will it still, bay still appear?
The bay will still appear. I mean, really, we want it to stay the same. It's just falling apart. But it seems that most bay windows, I mean, they come pre-built, and all of them, I think, have casement in the middle. I guess that's just the way they're all.
Yeah, I thought they had like fixed glass, but I understand for I'm sure for air circulation, it'll be easier to have something there. So, okay, I just didn't know if you were, flattening it to the house as one,
No,
one
no.
piece or.
No, we like the bay window. It's just slowly falling off the house.
Yeah.
Do you know if any of these windows are original or are you replacement windows?
None of them are original. Most of them are vinyl. It seems fairly low quality. Some of them, the ones in the living room, notably, are wood. They are higher quality. So, like for example, in this photo, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 are wood. They open okay. They're not falling apart, but they're not like you open them and then they just sort of like fall shut. Again, the ones on the first floor are really pretty bad. And sorry, and those are the vinyl ones. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You want them all to match, I assume,
Yeah.
aside from the basement.
Right.
And are they vinyl clad, Roger? I am not familiar with Home Depot windows.
What do you mean by vinyl clad? Sorry, I'm not sure the terminology.
Well, I mean, it has a vinyl outside, I mean, most windows are not wood anymore, I'm trying to.
I mean, they are, the material is vinyl, I believe. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Spec sheet.
Yeah, I mean, they are vinyl. I just don't know. I thought you meant like maybe the oh, 1 second. Give me a text from
There's a comment in the chat that they're not vinyl clad, they are Martin 6500.
What are they?
Some Martin 6500. Just somebody's raising their hand. Amir.
Oh, yes. Okay. So yeah, I just the Home Depot rep just told me it's actually, these have been changed from 6100 to 6500. I think there was a request to change to windows with better Energy Star rating. So I'm sorry, this shows the 6100s, but we're actually going with the 6500.
Sorry.
We want to let the guy out. We want to let the Home Depot guy out.
Can you
I
make
would say let him on.
I'm gonna let the guy on as a panelist.
Let him. Let him tell us what's the difference. Why only 2 minutes?
There he's on.
Hello,
Hello.
how you
Can you-
doing? I can hear you.
Yes, how are you? This is Amir from Home Depot. I'm actually just I was hearing everything, but you guys could not hear me. So the window we've selected for the customer is a Simonton window, a 6500 Simonton window. With an Energy Saver Plus glass, which has a high U factor.
Okay, we were told that the windows were changed from 6100 to 6500. Is that true?
Correct, which is a better window, a better efficiency, U factor.
Okay.
So the only difference is the energy rating. Is that correct? Otherwise, it's exactly the same as presented in the application?
That's correct, ma'am. And we did that because for that area, there's a requirement, to be minimum U factor. So with that type of window, he's pretty much covered, and he'll get the maximum efficiency as far as what a window does. And to answer your question, the window is actually a vinyl frame. So it's made by Simonton, which is, you can go on their website and you can see the window. So full vinyl frame window. It's not vinyl clad.
Okay.
Not what-
Final
Not
clad.
vinyl clad itself. I get it.
Yes. Sounds right to me.
Okay.
Any
All right, and they're replacement windows, so everything else it'll look the same?
Pretty much.
Yes, ma'am.
Just one over one.
And even
Right? No other work has,
no other work.
Yep.
okay,
No.
it's fine for me. I think they should be consistent 1/1, regardless of what the original design was at this point. I think that's an improvement.
I agree. Randy? Okay, I will then make a motion to approve on an amended application, changing the windows from a series 6100 to a series 6500. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, we have application 22-24, 24 Ilinka Lane, windows and doors.
Well, okay.
Hi there. Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, James.
It's good to see you guys. How you been?
Good, thanks.
Good. So this is a fairly straightforward proposal for moving around some windows and adding some new windows to accommodate changes to the interior, including kitchen renovation and some bathroom renovation. The majority of the work is on the driveway side of the building. So I will share my screen and orient you a little bit. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming.
Okay. So this is 12 Ilinka. I know it's saying Hamilton, but essentially the street side is east, the driveway side is south, the rear yard is west. There's no work to the north, and there's no work to the east as well. What we're doing is, and you can see here, here's the front elevation. So you can see right now it's a series of all casement windows. These are existing Anderson 400 series casements, some of them active, some of them fixed. No work is being done to this elevation. No work to this elevation, which is the north. The bulk of the work is to the garage side, which is this elevation here at a different angle, and some minor changes to the rear, which you'll see here. And I'll drive you through the drawings real quick. So all of the windows are replaced in kind. So it's white trim, white frame, same style window. In fact, we're trying to move some windows around to minimize the amount of changes. So you can see here, here is the proposed elevation. You can see the areas that we're proposing as demolished. So we're taking these windows here and essentially moving, patching and matching, taking this window here, moving it over into a bathroom, expanding some windows within, expanding some windows within the kitchen area, changing some windows within a bathroom area, and then subsequently doing the same thing on the rear elevation. We're, we're adding one skylight in the master bathroom, and then subsequently moving a couple other windows around. In addition, we have one added door in the back. So that's the bulk of the changes. Nothing much more to it. It's pretty simple. And that's it.
Really changed on the porches in the back? Or is that what they were?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The porch railings, are they different or is that the same
No,
as what they were?
this is all existing. There's no change to it. So you can see here, like if we're looking at the rear, see this window? We're essentially flip-flopping this
door now?
window and this door. And we're adding
Okay.
2 new windows up here. No change to the railing or deck or anything else. No change to the siding is all patch and match. Nothing, you know, it's going to be the same color and everything.
Okay, no further questions. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sounds good. Thank you
sir.
guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
So, moving on to next application 22-25, 61 Field Terrace. Windows.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good evening. My name's Mike Jacobs. I'm an architect at Jacobs Chang Architecture, and we're working with the property owners at 61 Field Terrace to do some renovation work mostly on the interior of their house. But the scope of work includes window renovation, or kind of window replacement, I should say, and some minor alterations to the exterior. So I'm going to just start by orienting everybody. This is an aerial from Google, but 61 Field Terrace is located here in the middle of these trees. And what's unique about the property is that it's been over the years carved into a shared driveway situation. So Field Terrace is here, and the driveway comes across here past 63 Field Terrace, and then branches towards 61 into 59. So it's 3 driveways into one. Keep going here. As we come up the driveway, that's 63 Field Terrace. That's along the street of Field Terrace. And as we branch, just to the south of the 61 is 59, which is this house here. And as we stand at that fork in the driveway, 59 again is on to the right, and 61 is to the left. The house was built originally in 1969. It's essentially a post and beam with mostly brick exterior and metal windows on the as window frames. On the left here, I'm just going to kind of reference this for a moment because I'll come back to this. There's a black steel fence that's just along the property edge between the 2 properties, 63 and 61. And I'll come back to that in a moment, but that's something we're interested in removing. So that's the context. I'm going to stay here for one moment and just kind of walk you through some of the site plan conditions that are a little unrelated to the windows, but do talk about how we're thinking about the property. I mentioned the house was built in 1969. It's originally a 1-story house, which is this piece right here. In 1983, a 2-story addition was put on the back. And the landscape, as it comes up, it's fairly flat, and then it descends down about 10 or 12 feet down to what's now a driveway area with the garage underneath and a bedroom above. Some of the things we're proposing as our scope of work. One is this is the steel fence that I had mentioned earlier. It's right on the property line. We are hoping to remove that. Right now it houses kind of a dead vegetable garden, but we're hoping to relocate it up here to the north end of the property, where it is going to sit with some great southern exposure between an old stone wall here that's part of an original kind of property that had previously been subdivided. And this line here is another fence line and retaining wall. And the area here that does not show any topography kind of slopes off dramatically to the paper street behind. Some of the other things we're proposing doing are bringing back the driveway to its more original state. So the asphalt driveway comes up and approaches the original drawings for the initial house, have a kind of an overflow parking space here. And then the carport, which is under this roof right here, and a little turnout for cars to back and turn. When the house was added onto in 1983, a driveway was a turnaround was built into the lawn. We are proposing removing that and just bringing it back to kind of a natural state. And then a driveway was extended down to the lower area here, where the driveway is and the garage. And what we're proposing is kind of ripping up the asphalt here, landscaping in this area, and keeping the asphalt down here for bicycles and kids basketball and that sort of thing, activities. The only other area of the property that we're kind of looking at, and I can get into this more in detail if you're interested, the owners are interested in installing solar array. We don't have any plans for that at the moment in any seriousness with any vendors, but this would be the area we would propose as a solar array on top of this rooftop. And then there's a roof deck here off the master bedroom, and there are some large planters and railings that are sitting here, and we'd like to replace those with a little bit of a different look. Okay. Sorry, folks, trying to navigate this with the mouse. So as part of the demo scope, we are hoping to replace all of the windows in the house with new ones. The house, most of the windows there are many decades old, and it's really time. They've sort of reached their limit. This area here is the turnaround, which we're hoping to remove. We're doing some interior work and relocating. But of significance, this is a living room. This is the original living room of the house, which is here. And then under the roof up here was initially an outdoor patio. And over the years, there was some work done where there was pop-out windows sort of here, and also on this end. So this floor was extended, and a little sort of glass enclosure, greenhouse style window system was installed. We're proposing removing those and replacing them, bringing back the enclosure to under the original roof, but keeping the enclosed patio as kind of a family room, and replacing these pop-out windows on either side with fixed glass units. As we move downstairs, the existing garage is going to be repurposed as part of the interior. The owners are interested in parking under the carport, which is above over here. And this room will be turned into a guest room and an exercise room, with two of the existing openings being enlarged to drop to the floor. And we're going to put in some sliding door units in there, or at least we're hoping to. Okay, I'm going to kind of toggle through existing and proposed in each elevation. So hopefully this is very easily digestible. The pink notes are really calling out areas that we are proposing removing things and altering them on the facade. So this is the north facing facade. This is the living room. This is currently a bedroom. And this is that back deck area that I had mentioned. And this would be the proposed changes to that. So again, if we were going to go back and forth, existing and proposed. As we move to the east elevation, this is facing the back hillside where it drops off pretty dramatically. This is the two-story addition that was built in 1983. And the changes we're hoping to make are very, very straightforward, but these are the two areas where we'd like to drop the windows down to the ground and have kind of direct access out into the lawn. As we move to the south side of the house, this is where the 1983 addition pulled the driveway down to the lower area of the house. So this is the addition. This is the original house. And we're proposing here enlarging these two window openings slightly and replacing these garage doors, one with stucco infill and one with a sliding door system. And that might look something like this. The other significant maybe deviation in the proposed changes is this area here, which we're proposing a bedroom to enlarge the window here. So this is an existing brick wall, and we're hoping to expand it a little bit to get another window into this bedroom. And then as we look from the west elevation, this is the wall of the carport. And then this is the living room. You can start to see these little pop outs that were put in at a previous date. And we're going to sort of pull the house back to its original. And then some of the other areas of the house that are a little more tucked in underneath the carport and at the entry courtyard. And I thought I'd just run through a couple slides real quick just to orient. This is facing west, and I'm just going to kind of go clockwise briefly around the house. You can see the pop outs, the living room. You can see these are large planter boxes and kind of pipe rail railings. So we're hoping to change those to bar stock, painted steel bar stock. And as we move around, you can see a lot of the landscaping is right up against the house. So we're hoping to kind of, at some point in the future, move some of that stuff away. And then this is the area along the driveway where we'd like to kind of cover the asphalt. And this corner of the brick right here is where we'd like to pull out about 3 to 4 feet of brick and expand the window to the 2 bedrooms over here. Carport entry. We'd like to infill these this window and this door. This door actually creates a little bit of a confusing entry as people arrive at the house. It's kind of a kitchen entry at the moment. Originally, it was a pantry entry. And really the front door, which I'll show you now, is in this courtyard. And this is where we'd like to have a proper entry and kind of landscape and pull up some of the asphalt here. And that's what the entry looks like today. And as we move around the house again, we haven't decided on a final paint color, but perhaps something in the gray zones and maybe paint the existing brick. And for the window system, we're looking at a metal black anodized aluminum window system. The detail here is not black, but it's the silver. But these 2 images show you what the black might look like. It's a very highly insulated window system. It's aluminum on the inside and aluminum on the outside, with some thermal gasketing in the middle that separates the interior from the exterior and reduces and eliminates all the thermal sweating. And it's a very highly efficient aluminum window system. That's it.
All right, let's do our application. I mean, you mentioned a lot of stuff that I thought we were doing windows.
Well, some railings. Right?
Can you go back to the original or the first page of the application?
I sure
That
can.
gives us an idea of what we're supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, so on the, sure can, give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop sharing and share the next screen here. Okay. So this is a copy of the document that was submitted. I believe you guys have a copy of this. So our project description on our application form was for interior non-structural remodel of an existing single-family house, new thermally broken windows to replace existing single-pane windows, minor alterations to the existing exterior. Does that help to clarify?
Like I said, my interpretation of this application was to be about was windows, and I did make some notes about needing a walkthrough on exterior finish changes, but you just did that, so.
The drawings, schematics. Just
I don't remember what's in the whole package.
Struggling with, firstly, it's a really nice, thorough presentation, and the designs that you proposed, I think, are very tasteful and in keeping with the original 1969 design. So we appreciate where you're going and what's proposed. What we're struggling with at the moment is we need to specifically approve what you've put forth, and because it's the nature of the presentation, we don't have our laptops in front of us, so I don't have the material that you submitted other than what you're giving to us right now. So if you could just, how are we able to identify, like typically we have a window schedule, so we could say, check, like all those windows have been proposed and we approve, the door, the stucco is going to be this color, so on and so forth. Can you remind us what was in the packet and
Yeah,
specifically?
I sure can. I'm sorry for the confusion. So the slides I just presented to you were an effort to kind of synthesize all of the information that's in our drawing set that we've submitted. So we have an exterior door and window schedule, which you'll find on our drawing sheet. So it's a fairly comprehensive list of, I think it's 30 windows in the house. Sorry, I'm just trying to navigate this here. Give me one sec. On this sheet here, this is a kind of a specification breakdown of the slide. You're not seeing this?
Not seeing your
Sorry.
screen. No.
All right, let me try one more time. Sorry about that. Let's try this. Okay. Sorry. Here are our window schedules. This is the list here. If you'd like me to go into detail, I certainly can. On the next sheet here on our submittal.
And if I could just pause you for 1 second. So when you were describing the aluminum window system, and I thought you had mentioned something about you weren't sure about the color. Is it included exactly which proposed
Yes. So
window?
on the
color?
literature on the window system, there's no examples like I'm showing on this. Can you guys see this page? There's no
Yes.
examples in the product literature that show them as black windows in detail. And so the slides that I presented are actual photos of the black units in a different project. So what we presented to you here in this building department submittal was Schuco aluminum doors and windows, black aluminum finish, and it's a simple standard black anodized aluminum.
Understood. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the 30 windows, black finish. What else is part of what we need to give you approval for?
My understanding in speaking with the building department inspector was that we would not need to decide a paint color if we're painting the existing brick.
True.
Okay.
And any doors? You said you were removing the doors, but any addition of doors?
We're replacing the front door. To be honest with you, we didn't have a paint color in mind, but it's a solid wood door now, and we would have a painted wood door as a replacement door. I don't know if you need more
And that's
information
fine.
on that.
We
Okay.
don't have to discuss that.
Okay. And then I just wanted to touch on this page here. This is a detail sheet. And what we were proposing for the railing is just a very simple metal railing. It's 1/2-inch dowel verticals, so circular rods basically going vertical, and at the top of the railing and at the base of the railing are bar stock, so 3/8 inch by 1.5 inch rectangular sections. They all get welded together, mounted to the deck, and they're painted. In this case, they would be painted black. This is what it might look like in plan. Right here.
Understood. And as far as hardscape, what I understood in the presentation is you're removing some of the driveway and putting in a natural landscape.
Correct.
And you're not adding any additional hardscape, correct? You're just removing.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. I'm going to see if I can zoom in here and just give you a quick summary on that. These are the gray areas of the areas that we'd like to remove. So this here, this white area is all asphalt. It probably will get resurfaced after the renovation, but essentially it's going to remain asphalt. And currently underneath the carport are some Belgian blocks, which I think are very non-period for this house. I think they were installed at a later date, and then it changes again to asphalt out here. So what we're proposing is getting rid of the Belgian block, getting rid of this portion of the asphalt, and replacing the Belgian block with asphalt to match the driveway. And in the entry courtyard, there's an existing bluestone path, and that bluestone path would be here and it kind of extend over this asphalt area as a new entry path, because this now would not be driveway.
And did you add any additional lighting, exterior lighting?
We have not. So the carport and the entry court area there's existing lights in those ceilings. We're not really proposing changing those at the moment. If that's something that the board here needs, I think if we are going to be changing light fixtures, I think that's certainly something we can come to you with. It hasn't been part of the discussions yet.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss that when you were walking us through the earlier slides.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
I think
definitely
I
will be some
understand.
electrical work.
That's left that I understand that you're considering painting the exterior brick. And
Yeah.
likewise, you're going to, when you patch where some of the windows are either being replaced or enlarged, you'll match existing stucco, but again, you'll be painting that stucco.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. I'm just going to sort of move through. So these are some of the areas perhaps where the back addition is the area where there's more stucco than brick. So like this back volume, for instance, this is an area, if you can see my cursor, where we'd like to drop this down and just expand the glass. The stucco in these cases will all remain. The area here, which is a garage door currently, we'd like to actually infill, and the natural decision is either, in my opinion at least, either glass or stucco. And for this opening, we're going to propose sliding doors. And for this opening, we're going to propose stucco.
Is that the one that's the guest room / gym?
The gym is on this
The one-
corner here. Yeah.
Bottom. Okay, you did mention that.
And there's a back door that that's gonna remain, that's kind of tucked underneath this little piece of stucco. It's hard to see from here. It's back in this corner.
And I think my last question was, I thought you said at the beginning of the presentation, there was something about the black fence that you returned to, or you wanted to remove?
Yeah, absolutely. So, shoot, where'd that go? Just gonna bring you back to this. So this little fence right here is at the foot of the driveway. And in the site plan, it sits right here against the two driveways, let's call it. The neighboring driveway forks in right along here. And we'd like to remove this, just bring it back to landscaping and place a fence line back in here, which is below this lawn and essentially at the grade of this lower area, slightly higher, but it's kind of tucked in between a retaining wall here and a existing iron fence here that kind of drops down to the street below.
Okay. I think that's going to have to be in another application. That's something that was proposed on this application, and frankly, we've got to move on. Anybody else have any other questions about the package that we've been proposing?
No, you're fencing a garden down there? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will make a
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the final comments were.
We were voting to approve the application, which we did on a vote of 4-0.
Thank you very much.
You are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Just so you know, we gotta move this along. There's an agreement for the cost.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Moving on, ARB 22-26, 205 South Broadway, solar. Yes, the time. So we'll be on, that was before that presentation.
Hello. All right, so this one's a little bit less involved than some of the other ones. Let me share the screen so we can. All right, so this is for rooftop solar panels at 205 South Broadway. Basically, it is 33 panels, and there will be 4 batteries also, but they are in a basement, so they're not visible from the exterior of the home. but as you can see, the panels are split between a garage and the main house. And they are all on basically the back portion of the roof. So nothing visible from the front of the actual home itself.
Is it the front of the house that's Broadway or the left side of the house?
So the house is actually, I'm gonna bring up, I think a Google map might be a little better. The house is actually kind of built sideways. So the actual street, I don't know if you can see my cursor, is basically right here. So I think if I bring up the Google map, it may actually be better, just to kind of give you a better perspective on it. All right, so this is actually from the street, what you would see right here. As you can see, there's a very heavy amount of vegetation on the property, extremely tall trees. So the house is right here. As you can see, it's kind of blurred out, but basically the panels would be on this side and on the other side, not visible from the street just due to tree heights.
I assume those are not evergreens, however.
My question exactly.
To be honest,
Meaning
I have
that they'll
Go
have
ahead.
a view of the house for half the year.
to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure which kind of trees. I just know there's a lot. I'm not sure. Did you see the other view that it just changed to right now?
That's fine, yes. So
Yeah, you
show
see
us with your cursor.
If
where
you
these are
kind of
going.
see, this is basically, just to kind of give you a little idea, from street level. As you can see, the trees, specifically these, oops, sorry, that just changed it. So now I don't even know what direction we're in. So this tree is basically the one that's kind of blocking the view from the actual street itself. I just flipped it and I don't know what direction it went in. Let me bring it back up. I will zoom back in this way. So to kind of give you a perspective, the front of the house is actually right here where you see my cursor. So it's kind of sideways. This is the actual South Broadway right here. And the panels would be right here on this part of the roof. And then some of them right there, basically right behind the red mark. And then on the garage, which is not visible at all from the street.
All right, any questions for everybody?
The only question I had was, I noticed that the notice was given to the neighbors on South Broadway, but I don't think you noticed the folks on Roland. Is that?
Let me see. I have a copy of the receipts here, so let me just double check it. I'll share it so you can see it. Second, let me find the receipts. Okay, so we, oops, sorry, one up. All right, so 1 Roland Road, Ardsley Ave, South Broadway, and Roland Road.
All right, so it sounds like both properties that neighbor the house on Roland were given notice.
Yes.
Because that it seemed like that would be it'd be more visible from Roland than South Broadway, if
Yeah,
at all.
it's-
So I just wanted to make sure.
It's pretty
Neighbors were
covered
on
from, yeah, it's pretty covered. I have some pictures here from the neighboring views. So the top one here would be looking left of the house on South Broadway, and then the bottom one shows looking right from the home.
Okay.
Not
Did you
so-
have anything in the package that showed the height of the top of the panel from the roof surface?
Yes, that is actually in the plans right here, 3 5/8 inches from the roof.
Right, but that's not the top of the panel though. How thick
Yeah,
is the panel?
So the actual panel, hold on, I can tell you that.
It's 2 or less you're in.
Give me 1 second. I don't want to give you, oh, they don't have the second page here. They didn't put the second page. I would have to double check it. I just don't want to give you the wrong numbers, and I work with so many panels that I don't want to.
Are any of them over 2 inches thick?
No, these are very fairly slim panels. LG makes very like sleek, beautiful looking thinner panels.
What's the height? The height of the support mechanism?
3 5/8, the rail from the roof.
I'm satisfied that's not going to be more than 6 inches.
No, it definitely won't be 6 inches.
What color are the panels?
Black.
Good.
I will now make a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing being open. Sarah, can you keep an eye out and see if there's anybody looking to raise their hand to make comments?
Nobody's raising their hand to speak, and there are no comments in the chat.
Okay, I will then make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will then make a motion to approve the application as presented. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Go. The 22-2749 Field Terrace. An addition.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
Great. So Douglas McClure for Subhani Chandra and Sumit Mohan. I guess I'll share my screen and get right into it because I know you're all in a rush.
No, unfortunately. The judge needs his room back.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. All right, can you see that okay?
Yep.
All right, so this is an existing house. We're putting an addition on the back. Just as sort of a big overview, the house has a very disturbingly steep driveway off of Osceola that in the winter is almost impassable. So part of this proposal is we're going to take that driveway and bring it around the front and then do a nice sort of bluestone walk up to the garage, up to the front door from there. And then we're adding this addition at the back end, sunroom addition. I will now go to the elevations. Okay. So I'll start with the plan. So part of this plan is we're doing a sort of an in-law suite on the first floor and adding a little bathroom in the garage, which changes the front window that's currently into the garage, just moves it over slightly and changes its proportion a little bit. All the rest of the windows essentially stay the same, but in the back, we have this new addition with some windows and a sliding French door. So here are the elevations. This elevation number 3 here shows the window that's being moved in the garage. And then you can see here the back window, we have double hungs, sort of match the rest of the house, with a nice picture window in the middle, facing south. We did 3 double hungs together. And then facing north, there's the large sliding door out to the terrace. The windows are all going to be white to match the existing. Let's let me get rid of this. Show you some pictures of the existing house. So my machine isn't working very well here, but the windows will match the house with the simulated divided lights, everything white. And the siding materials and trims will also match the existing house. So the pale yellow clapboard and the white corner board trims and fascias, etc. And then lighting, we haven't selected a light yet, but it'll be dark sky compliant and some sort of lantern similar to this, because that's the kind of, you know, traditional lighting they actually have on the house right now, which you can sort of make out next to these doors in the exterior here. And that's the extent of my presentation.
Ladies, questions?
Very nice.
Okay, Doug, I wish to approve the application. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Do I get to leave?
No. Okay, because we still have. All right, moving on to 22-29, 100 North Mountain Drive, RZ Country Club. I know that Deb Hargraves is going to recuse herself. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Okay. Decision, if the decision to be made on this will be made by 3 people. Okay. Anybody raising their hand?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board, Zach Pearson with Inside Engineering. Permission to share my screen?
Please.
So we're before you this evening for the approval of the installation of 2 additional paddle tennis courts. This application was before the planning board and the zoning board. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. The club currently has 3 existing paddle tennis courts in this location, and they're proposing to install an additional 2 courts just below them. Let's see here. Go to the next screen. So the main clubhouse is just to the west of this. There's 3 existing courts in this location, and we're proposing to install 2 additional paddle tennis courts just below the courts. Elevated walkway system from the existing parking lot will be extended. Currently, it gets down to these 2 courts. It'll be extended down to gain access to the 2 new lower courts. I can share some pictures. This is what the existing courts look like now. These are 2 of the 3 here. Proposing to install the elevated walkway system down between these 2 courts, and the 2 lower courts would be situated just below these 2 courts at a little bit lower elevation. The paddle tennis courts are aluminum decking, aluminum supports. Happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I assume the lighting of the new courts will be the same as the old, or?
Yes, it'll be the same. Yes.
And obviously dark sky compliant.
Yes.
Okay. I really didn't see anything, there's nothing, really no objections to any neighbors, because the neighbors are the golfers, so I don't think there's anybody that can see these areas. And the golfers will probably be mostly members, so.
Right,
At
and we
this
did
point,
have public hearings for the planning board and the zoning board for this application.
And you're successfully passed both of those?
Yes.
Both, okay. All right, well, I have no questions. Nothing?
No, it's already passed.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, 3.
Thank you very much.
Okay. To the last application of the night, and it's a historic overlay district demo request. ARB 22-30, 126 Main Street. And I will let the applicant make a presentation, at which time I will open the hearing.
Present the application. Can you please hit your raise hand button?
Yes.
John?
Wants us to adjourn.
John?
For you, Judge.
No, Judge.
I've been called a lot of things. Judges,
Oh, sir?
This is an architecture review board. We bring in has to start. Oh, is the judge here? He's not here yet.
Sir, you check with the police department. He's raising his hand. He'll be here.
Wait, knows this demo. Not architectural one.
Hello, guys.
Morning.
Hi.
Hi, John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture, representing the Gallo House. The application is for demolition in the historic overlay district. It's a partial demolition that's related really to exterior finishes and windows. The existing windows in the house are vinyl insert windows, replacement windows that we think are most likely from 1991. They could be earlier. The goal right now, the house is a 2-family house. The goal is to put it back to a single-family house. When it was made a 2-family house, one of the things that was changed is the staircase was modified in order to provide access to the second floor as a separate apartment. So there was a first floor apartment, a second floor apartment. And part of what happened at that time, as you can see on this image, is that there was a wraparound porch that was complete. It wrapped around the perimeter of the house and was most likely open all the way around. That porch was enclosed. And the stair runs up in that area, and a roof was added and modified in this area. So we're proposing to remove that roof and try to get the porch back, porch roof at least, back to its original historic configuration. This area, that is the stair that will be removed is being used for a downstairs powder room, bathroom. So we're not putting this back to its original historic condition, but we're changing the way that this is finished. So that it is more like a porch solarium language rather than the siding that's shown here, so that it would have referenced the porch language better than what's been done here. The windows also, because of the bathroom function, have been reduced and relocated in this area. Otherwise, there's siding that we're hoping to remove and replace with something that's in line with the historic siding that was there, and remove things like the fire escape. There is a very small chimney that's associated with a boiler that we're planning to remove. It's not a chimney that was associated with a fireplace, and it can't be used. It's too small. But other than that, the goal of the project is to return the house to closer to its historic character. So the windows that are being proposed are Marvin Elevate line. The exterior is fiberglass and the interior is wood. These are the windows that we use down the street on Continental on that house. The configuration is similar, where they're going to be a 2x2, which references what would have been a typical condition in 1911 when the house was built. Here you can see the existing condition, that side elevation that shows that odd roof condition. That's what's going to come off. On the front facade, you see there was one of the windows on the second floor that had been modified because there's a bathroom in that location. We're keeping the bathroom in that location, but we're returning that to its original size, eliminating a window here. If you look at the proposed revision to the elevation, the language that we're using on the front porch, or hoping to use on the front porch, you see how that it's intended to be more, it'll be match the trim color, and it's intended to be more porch-like than what's there now, and so that there'll be some contrast between the siding and what was the original porch. Otherwise, the goal is get the windows back.
Hold on a second, John.
Yeah, you know why? Because there's so much, here. I thought maybe I'd stop for a second. What's underneath the porch, the dark, or were you gonna just tell us that?
The stuff underneath, this is a concrete block foundation right now that we were going to leave in place. I think what we're showing now is just a stucco of that. Right now, it's just a simple concrete block foundation. There's lattice in the old part of the porch that we're proposing to be replaced, and the stair also is proposing to be replaced, with a more historic stair that's similar to what's there, and the lattice. This we didn't add lattice in this area because of the foundation is so forward, so the plane of the lattice would be different anyway. I think the goal there, what we were hoping, I think the better approach to that might be to just plant it, to try to, offset that difference. I think it's hard to do a fake lattice in front of the foundation. I think.
It wouldn't look right. Well, maybe it can work with color.
Yeah, I'm worried it would. But the block looks inexpensive and kind of, not well thought out. So at least a parge finish on that will make it look more like a clean foundation rather than showing itself as concrete block. On the rear elevation, we're just adding doors. There's a slider and a door from the kitchen in that area. I think there's some interest in a future phase that would involve correcting repairing the garage, or changing the garage floor elevation or something, rebuilding the garage, and potentially adding a mudroom. That's not part of this phase, but so this phase is all within the existing building. And I think we have specifications. Sorry, go ahead.
When it comes to the railings, I recall another historic building that we had some issues with on trying to keep the railings historic, however, coming up to current, common codes.
Right. Right. So
I know
what
that,
we're doing here is we're not showing any modification in this area. So our reading of the building code portion of it is that these do not need to be modified because we're not changing them. What you see here on the rail down the stairs is we're going to match the historic height, because if you get in here, you can see there's shapes to the column where you wouldn't want to bring the railing into that column in some other area. It sort of needs to come in at this area that's too low. So what we're showing is a metal rail on top of that. So we would be mounting a metal rail at the proper height above the other rail. And that the goal of that would try to make it like very blank, modern rail, so that it contrasts against what's supposed to read as historic, as opposed to try to modify the historic rail.
Okay. Anything else, John?
Oh, just quickly, the roof demolition. So we're demoing the roof shingles. They're kind of a inexpensive flat shingle, and we're proposing doing it's still an asphalt shingle, but it's one of these ones that has multiple layers, and it has configuration that's supposed to read as shadow. It's trying to emulate slate, and we think that the house in 1911 most likely had the very thin slate that was common to the village houses. That's what we think was up there.
Thank you for amending that, showing us which shingle and which color.
Right, rather than just sending all the colors. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody on the board have any questions?
No questions. I just would like to comment how tasteful and thoughtful the design is, and how much those of us who really appreciate the historic district are excited about returning the house to one family and making it more historically accurate and in keeping with the neighborhood. I think it's done very well. And considering it's a contributing building in the historic district, I think it sets a really nice tone for other properties that are going to come before us and what our expectations would be.
Well said.
Thank you.
Terrific, John.
Yeah, great. And I think it's great. We've found a client who's very interested in it. This guy, Pat Gallo is very interested in, bringing it back. It's interesting that these people who are buying these properties are kind of like, I want it back to the way it was. It's nice.
Project, and it works, at a for a price that makes it reasonable to do this much work.
Right. That's one of the other things that allowed this to happen, was that price. Yeah.
All right, I will now make a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sarah, anybody from the public?
Nobody's raising their hand to speak, and there are no comments in the chat.
Okay. I will make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the application. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Malone. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
As I said, I don't have anything more, housekeeping to do, but what I did, that they have to do a.
Yes.
You gotta be out of here.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be out of here.
All right.
I will make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.